Hey guys, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business on this Tuesday afternoon. The good news is Tyrone Crawford was back practicing. He was limited, wearing a neck roll and everything else, dealing with the stinger and stuff, and was asked, what was that crunch sound that you heard and felt? And he said, it's like you've gone to the chiropractor and you just hear your back crack like crazy. So the fantastic news is there's only two players who didn't practice. That's Xavier Salafalo. And fortunately, we got Connor Williams filling in as that swing guard that I'm talking about at guard, and David Irving. Yeah, David Irving. So our team is getting ready to take on Seattle Seahawks. Now, I've told you guys my story about the black sheep and the reason why I call the Cowboys the black sheep. Because they're always down, they're always doubted, they're always told they can't do it. They're always picked against. Nobody believes in them. Yet, what they've been doing this season, is they've been winning. They've been proving them wrong. They just go out there, they take care of business, and they just keep on going. And so, as we go through, and we think about this season, we take on the Seattle Seahawks. And Vegas has us as a 1-point favorite, which in a way is kind of like saying, you're really not very good. Because Vegas gives you 3 points just for being the home team. So that's saying, if we're on a neutral field, they believe that Seattle's the better team. But are they? I'm going to do the same thing that I did going against New Orleans. I just haven't had time to sit down and analyze it and do the numbers and crunch it like I did before, and I will between now and the weekend. But here's the thing that I got to say is, yes, Seattle, 10-6 record. Identical to us. Seattle, yes, they beat us. They beat us up in Seattle. I can't lie to that. So from that alone, you should say, well, they beat you before, then they should automatically beat you again. They got 6-2 over the last 8 games. And they've done better with that defense than you would have thought, losing Chris Richard and Michael Bennett. Earl Thomas got hurt, You had Cliff Averill ended up having to retire. You lost all kinds of players. So when you look at that schedule and know that they got Russell Wilson, you say, well, okay, Seattle, the better team. I'm going to talk about the Cowboys, the accident waiting to happen. But here's the thing I say to look at, because that's what you're going to get on ESPN and NFL Network from the guys that hate the Cowboys. But what you really have to do is you have to look down deeper. You have to look inside more than just the record. And that's what I said against New Orleans. Because I said New Orleans, they're scoring all kinds of points and stuff. They were. But when you looked at the defenses that New Orleans was facing, they only played one defense that was in the top 10, and that was the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens kept them down to, 21 points, 21-17, something like that. But if you actually looked at the strength of the defensive schedule that the Saints played, they were averaging playing the 21st worst defense in the NFL. And the Cowboys, on the other hand, we were facing like the 11th on average. So every week we were playing a tougher defense. So I said from there, listen. And people laughed at me. I said, listen, the Saints haven't played a defense like ours. A defense that's got a pass rush that's deadly, that keeps guys in the pocket. A defense, excuse me, that has these tall guys. Drew Brees is short. It makes it harder to see over. And, I got the video clips sent of me from WWE, no chance in hell. Saints fans laughing at me. You're an idiot, man. But the Cowboys came through and they won. But as I began to start dissecting everything from Seattle, as I started going through here, they're 10-6 in the AFC West. That division, they're in the playoffs, of course, with the Rams. Just like us in our division, we got the Super Bowl champions, and us are in the playoffs. I don't know what happened to the AFC North because, well, they suck. Everybody thought that was going to be the powerhouse where they'd probably get two or three teams out of there, but yeah, it didn't happen. But as we look at the opponents, I don't know if you guys can see this very well. Let me zoom in up here a little bit here. We started looking at the opponents and what they did. They played Denver, and they lost to Denver early in the season, 27-24. They lost to the Bears. Bears, of course, good team. Bears, number 3 seed, so you can understand that. That's okay. They beat us 24-13 when we were lost. Early part of the season, we didn't have an identity. Dak Prescott hadn't thrown for 200 yards yet. Quality win. Okay, in Seattle. And if you've ever been to Seattle for a game, you understand what home field advantage is. I wish we had something like that in Dallas, because you can't hear jack. And that was an emotional game because of Earl Thomas playing against the team that wanted to get him. So Earl Thomas came up big in that game. Turns out he didn't come up with too many more games because he got hurt. So that was their first win. Their second win was against the Arizona Cardinals. Then they lost to the Rams. They beat Oakland, but who hasn't beat Oakland? They beat the Lions. We beat the Lions too. Lions, well, not so good. It's bad when your coach even shows up late for practice. And then they lost to the Chargers. Chargers, good team. I understand that. And of course, they lost to the Rams a second time. They beat Green Bay, who fired their coach. They beat Carolina, who started out 6-2 and proceeded to drop off a cliff. They beat San Francisco. San Francisco, another team without a quarterback. They beat the Vikings with Kirk Cousins. And then they lost to San Francisco without a quarterback on the road in overtime. They beat Kansas City at home in a shootout. And they beat Arizona 27-24. So I ask you this, in looking at the body of work for the Seahawks, does that really look like a juggernaut that on the road that you don't have a chance against? Because some teams are just saying, look, Russell Wilson. Oh, Russell Wilson. You got Russell Wilson. They're going to kill you. Russell Wilson will be the difference maker. Seattle Seahawks, great team, great defense, and all that. But I'm sitting here looking at this. Where are the great wins? You got Kansas City in a shootout. But are you saying Arizona 27-24 is a quality win? And I know for us, we only beat the Giants. I know we only beat the Giants in the same fashion, but still. But you lost to San Francisco coming down the stretch. You beat the Vikings, okay. Vikings were kind of fighting for a playoff spot, but they imploded. San Francisco you destroyed, but Carolina, they've been bad for quite a while now. But you lost to the Rams twice, and you lost to the Chargers. So please explain to me how everybody thinks that they are a juggernaut. Because Russell Wilson last week, 152 yards. Against Kansas City, 271. Against San Francisco, 237. Against Minnesota, 72. San Francisco, 185. Oh, there we go. Carolina, 339. Green Bay, 225. 176 against the Rams. 235 against the Chargers. 248. Am I missing something? I'll say it's going to be a good game. And I believe that the Dallas Cowboys will get that elusive playoff victories. But we'll just have to wait till Saturday night to see, won't we? I'm Mark Holmes. This is my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I hope you guys are having a happy new year. And hopefully this will be our year for the Dallas Cowboys. I will see you guys soon.